I found the USB drive in a dusty box at a flea market, buried under old chargers and tangled cables. The seller didn't know where it came from, just shrugged and said someone dropped it off with a bunch of electronics. It looked normal, silver, scratched, nothing special. But the moment I plugged it into my laptop, everything changed. At first, the files seemed ordinary. A few text documents, random images, audio clips that sounded like static. I almost deleted everything. But something made me stop. The dates on the files were wrong. Some showed timestamps from years into the future, others from decades in the past. I thought it was just corruption or some glitch, so I left it. Closed the laptop, went to sleep. The next morning, everything inside the USB drive was different. Every single file had been replaced. I remember staring at the screen thinking maybe my laptop synced something or auto-deleted. But no, the drive wasn't connected to the internet. I checked the properties, same storage size, same device ID, just completely different files. New names, new dates, new content. The first new folder was labeled Tonight. Inside were recordings of places I had never visited, footsteps on gravel, the sound of a door creaking open, someone breathing slowly, like they were hiding. It felt wrong. It felt like eavesdropping on something I wasn't supposed to hear. I decided to test it. I copied one recording to my desktop. Then I unplugged the drive and left it on my table. I didn't touch it again until midnight. When I plugged it back in, the folder Tonight was gone. In its place was a new one called Tomorrow. Inside were photos of my own street. Empty, dark, streetlights flickering. But one picture showed someone standing at the corner, tall, hooded, facing my house. When I zoomed in, the image distorted. The figure's face blurred like the camera refused to capture it. I sat there frozen, staring at that picture for 10 full minutes. What was this thing? Over the next week, the USB continued updating itself every night. I began documenting everything: file names, formats, timestamps. Patterns slowly appeared. The images always showed places before something happened: a car accident that occurred the next morning, a building that caught fire 2 days later, events I only recognized after seeing them on the news, and the text files, those were worse. Some looked like journal entries from people I didn't know, describing things they feared were going to happen. Others were confessions, crimes, secrets, regrets. Some were dated for days that hadn't arrived yet. Nights later, I watched those dates become real news stories in the world outside my screen. I told myself it was coincidence, that it had to be. But there was one moment I could never explain. One night, around 2 a.m., I woke up to a sound, my laptop turning on by itself. I never leave it open. The USB drive was still plugged in. The screen glowed in the dark room. New files started appearing in real time, dozens of them. It was like someone, or something, was uploading from inside the drive without touching it. A folder appeared with my name on it. Inside were pictures of me. Some were from my social media, but others, I had never seen them before. One showed me asleep in my bed, from an angle no one could have taken unless they were standing right beside me. My heart stopped. I checked my windows, my door. Everything was locked. Nothing was broken. I unplugged the USB and threw it in a drawer. But the next night, even without being connected to any device, I heard a soft click coming from the drawer, like the metal casing warming up, like it was alive. I left it there for days, weeks. I ignored it, pretended it wasn't calling to me, but curiosity eventually won. When I plugged it back in, the files had changed again. It had a new folder called Choices. Inside were 2 files, one named If You Keep It, and the other named If You Destroy It. I opened the first one. It showed a video. Grainy, low quality. I saw myself years from now, older, tired, obsessed, surrounded by walls covered in printed screenshots from the USB drive. Each night holding it like it was the only thing I had left, like my life belonged to it. I opened the second file. This one was short. Just a blank screen with a single sentence typed in white text. You cannot destroy what does not belong to you. I slammed the laptop shut. I took the USB outside and smashed it with a hammer. Nothing happened. Not a scratch. I burned it. It didn't melt. I left it in water overnight. No change. It was like it existed outside the rules of everything I understood. The next morning, when I came back inside, the USB drive was sitting neatly on my desk, even though I had thrown it into a ditch behind my house. I don't touch it now. I keep it locked in a metal box, hidden in a place only I know. But every once in a while, late at night, I hear the faint click of it powering on, even though it's not plugged into anything, even though it shouldn't be able to. And every time I open the box to check, the USB is always facing upward, waiting, silent, like it knows I'll eventually plug it in again. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who created it. I just know one thing: the files change every night, whether anyone sees them or not.